Welcome to What If Deku Was Abandoned. Check the author out and like and sub. The young heroes stepped into positions looking confident. Problem child, you are with me, and Toga, you follow me as well. Izuku explained, sliding on his goggles. Honestly, why do we have to babysit kids on this high-stake mission? Rocklock complained, with Izuku and Himiko flipping him off. They have proven themselves more than capable for this raid. Izuku spoke up. And problem child, you said you can track them? Izuku asked. That is child's play, Izuku yelled, unsheathing his blades. That's good, you are in the front with Toga. Carve our way in, Izuku said, with his scarf floating up then down. Suddenly a large amount of wind hitting them. Looks like Ryukyu's team has started, Izuku yelled out as all the teams ran in. You extras better use the training I taught you, Izuku thought as they all ran in together. Night Eye finds the secret passageway with the entire underground being warped and swayed. I am going ahead, Mirio yelled, phasing through the moving hallways. I am right behind you. I am winning this race, Izuku yelled as his muscles expanded. Eighth Fang, explosive rush, Izuku yelled, with the walls closing in on him. Fifth Fang, crazy cutting, he yelled, cutting them to bits. Second form, love pangs, Toga yelled, with the area turning into chunks. Himiko, follow me. We are getting to Eri first, then kicking the bird face in ass, Izuku yelled as the walls separated. All separate them all. Shit. Hobo is gone. Whatever, Himiko, we need to get to the yellow kid, Izuku yelled at Himiko as they sliced their way into the underground base. Red Riot. Fat Gum Gum yelled as they were shoved into a different room together. Oh, looky here, looks like I can fight a strong one. They both look up to see a man with a beak mask with red hair walking towards them. With another walking next to the red hair with his eyes shut. Unbreakable, Kirishima yelled as he withstood multiple blows. I like this kid. The name is Rappa, he yelled, continuing the onslaught on Kirishima. A little bit more, Kirishima thought as he flew back, with Fat Gum switching with him. Stay back. Red Riot, I will deal with this. Kirishima soon got back up, taking a large amount of air. This is nothing. I can keep going. Midoriya's training was scarier than this fight. He yelled in his mind, charging back in. Breakable, he shouted again, slamming his fist into the barrier that came up, shattering. I barely felt those punches, and I am not done, he shouted as his fist collided with Rappa's, cracking his own rock-like exterior, breaking his own arm. Oh man. I am excited, this will be a great fight. Yeah, Rappa yelled, receiving a kick to the face. Rappa retaliated by grabbing the leg and slamming Kirishima to the ground, breaking it. Fat Gum tackled Rappa, with Kirishima getting up once more. As a barrier surrounded him. This ain't manly, he yelled, breaking it again. He focused his attention to Rappa's partner. You sure are annoying to fight, this ain't manly. I wonder what Midoriya would do. Oh, I know, fight. He screamed, running towards him, shattering the barriers that came up. Screw pain. Just use it as a motivator. Fight. 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 Fight, he yelled, remembering Izuku drilled into his head. He sped up as he reached the man. Maybe Midoriya is rubbing off on me, but I don't care as long as I win this fight. The manly way, he shouted, uppercutting the man, shattering his mask, then followed it up by slamming his fist downwards, making him eat dirt. His vision began to blacken as he gasped for air. Midoriya warned me about this. I forgot, just have to breath, he thought as a loud blast rang out. He turned to see a now skinny Fat Gum with Rappa embedded in a wall. Midoriya, you good? Your arm is beyond broken. Fat Gum, or Skinny Gum, yelled out, with Kirishima looking down on his arm in horror. Midoriya going to kill me after this? He is going to try to teach me to dodge again, he yelled in horror. How did he train you to dodge? Skinny Gum asked him. He told me if I could dodge a 25-pound dumbbell, then I could dodge a punch. You have to hide me. He doesn't hold back when we are training. Kirishima begged. Sheesh, this Midoriya kid sounds crazy. A dumbbell? Shinny asked. He is crazy, but he is strongest in the class for a reason. He whined, ignoring the pain in his arm from the fear of being found by Izuku that he got hurt that badly. Froppy. Nay, higher. Slam him down, Ochako yelled as a massive villain was smashed into the ground from Su kicking him and Nahire's energy waves. Ryukyu swooped in grabbing a still-floating villain. "Why don't you sleep for a big guy?" she roared, flying high with Ochako releasing her anti-gravity on him, making him plummet to the ground. "Ha ha ha ha, you girls really do know how to start a fight," he laughed as he got up, being bigger than he was before. Suddenly they all felt very lethargic. The villain stood up as if he has took no damage. "This will be fun. I've never had this much power, the boss will be happy." "Not a chance you're winning. My trainer will train me to death if he found out I lost," Ochako shouted, running at him. He went for a punch only to feel nothing but a slap on his fist. Ochako had slapped his fist, making him lose his momentum by making him weightless. She then latched onto the said fist. "Potato sack bash," she shouted, spinning him around. Using the momentum she built up to repeatedly slam him into the ground like Izuku showed her to do for her training. Which was basically him making her quirk instead of a support quirk into a fighting quirk. It was painful because she had to fight Izuku, until she had it down that her opponents won't wait on her to float things and throw it at them. Flashback. Midoriya, why is Kirishima have multiple bruises? I asked as he shrugged. "I taught him how to take a punch and dodge." "Okay. Come at me with your full force, no holding back," he instructed as I nodded. I made mats, dumbbells and gym equipment float. "Here I come," I shouted, chucking every single one at him as he tanked it all. Midoriya got up as spat out some blood. "Not bad, round face, but it's shit," he shouted. "Do it again. This time no prep time." I went to float another dumbbell only for me to feel strong punch to the gut. It knocked the air out of me as I gasped for air on the ground. He crouched to me and said, "Try again." This went on many more times until I accidentally made him float. "Good. You are finally getting it, but not enough," he shouted, launching himself from the ceiling as I felt a kick to the face. "You have the first part, but you need the second part," he shouted, bringing out a potato sack and dummy. I got up and stared at what he was doing. He grabbed the dummy by the arm, spinning it at great speeds, then smashing into the ground. "What did you learn?" Nothing. "Because that was I want you to do, but you need to get the right mindset," he said, picking up a dumbbell. "Make this float." I followed his orders as he put into the potato sack. "You remove weight of the same weapon, but you don't remove mass or what material it's made of," he said, saying word that I thought he didn't know. He walked up to a wall with the potato sack. "This is what you do. When you fight a own bigger and stronger than you, you make them your bitch," he shouted, slamming the dumbbell repeatedly into the wall, making a hole. "That is what you want me to do to a person? Obviously. If he or she is trying to kill you, then you return the favor with a couple broken bones or kill them. Dumbass." Flashback over. "Is this how it feels to play whack-a-mole?" she asked herself as Sue came in with her body expanding and taking large amounts of air. She then smashed into the solar plexus of the massive villain with her legs. "Midoriya, I wish to kick you in the face for this power-up," she thought as his voice rang through her head. Flashback. "Hey pray. How big are they?" he asked me, pointing at me chest. "C cup? Not your fat. Your lungs," Izuku asked as I looked at him shocked, then remembered he doesn't know much about biology. "I don't know. Karo." "Great. I have to test it because you be one to benefit from this than a normal person because of you being a frog. Which means you have massive lungs for air," he shouted, ignoring her previous statement and taking out a bucket of water. "Put your head in here. Time yourself when you are done. Come to me as I train the yellow man's kid," he shouted, dashing off. So Kirishima and Duraka got beat up for training, but are getting stronger from it. And I get a bucket of water while also getting called fat because he doesn't know female anatomy. I am definitely going to kick him in the face after the raid. I better get taught the breathing technique, and I don't care if he is oblivious about this kind of thing. He doesn't call me fat. Karo, I said to myself, starting the timer and dunking my head into the water. Flashback over. Uraka floats the villain again as Sue hopped off as Ryukyu got up. I like it when my underlings do better. It makes me happy for the next generation of heroes, she yelled, grabbing the villain. Then proceeded to drag him across the ground, then continuously punching him in the face until he finally passed out for them. Ryukyu collapsed from being tired. Fighting a person that becomes stronger by taking your vitality is a pain in the ass, she said as they heard the laughter of a maniac. Please don't tell me. Garosu said tiredly as the ground erupted in blue flames with the laughter getting louder. A very bruised and burnt Izuku with an unharmed Iri on his back erupted from the hole where the blue fire was burning brightly with a large amount of spikes following him. I am a fucking fire god. Fangs, Izuku yelled as she sliced a wall about to the crusher. The hell did I say about the name? She shouted with Izuku diving through a small crack. Sorry. Himiko, he yelled, rotating his entire body, building momentum with his foot smashing through a wall that came up. It's alright, habits die hard. She screamed, jumping over him, slashing the next wall to bits. They entered a room with two people standing at the opposite end. Hey Scarface, either move or I will move you. Izuku threatened. I got an Iri to save. Sorry, can't. He responded with others speaking up. Oh Toga, you are okay! !/you traitor, he shouted with a different voice at the end. Dabi. Twice. Move, we have a kid to save, she shouted, not wanting to fight. Sorry. No can do, Shigaraki needs the kid and the bullets. This is what you get for playing hero, Toga, Dabi said, aiming his hand at her. Traitor. Large stream of blue fire shot out from his hand. Toga put her arms up, trying to block the attack as much as she could, knowing what the fire would do to her. 10th Fang, whirling fangs, Izuku shouted, twisting his blades very quickly to divert the fire away from her. Now you fucked up. No one tries to kill my partner, Izuku shouted at Dabi. 8th Fang, explosive rush. Izuku rushed him, dumbass, Dabi said, hitting Izuku directly with the flames. He turned his head to Toga. Your necks. He didn't get to finish his sentence because Izuku jumped through the blazing flames and sucker punched Dabi in the face, making him fly back. You thought those puny flames could burn a forest god, Izuku shouted with some slight burns across his entire body. You are one crazy bastard tanking fire like that, Dabi said, rubbing his jaw. We don't have to fight. Dabi. Twice. You had a villain rehabilitation program. The both of us are in it. It could work for two. Toga persuaded with them looking her. He is a villain? I can't really tell, Twice said. I've done too much, plus I can get my revenge very soon, so I am out. Sorry, I mean it really, maybe in another world. Dabi lowly said, firing up. I just can't let that go, he said. The entire room was engulfed in blue fire. Izuku rushed back to Himiko. 10th Fang, whirling fangs, he yelled, diverting the fire again. Izuku inhaled as the fire entered his lungs, making him feel like he was on fire. His blood flow sped up as he felt his chest burning, with a mark appearing on his chest. Set your heart ablaze. His mind shouted. 8th Fang, explosive rush, he shouted, going through the fire with slight burns spread across his body. It seems you have a slight burn resistance. At least you were born lucky to have it, Dabi shouted, increasing the heat as Twice rushed to Himiko. It is too late for me as well, but not for you. Please be a great hero for me, pretty please, Twice said, with his multiple personalities agreeing with his words. I will. I swear it. She responded. Great! Also confess to the boy I know how you are! Shut up! No you! Twice yelled, arguing with himself as he melted away. Sorry, no can do. Twice. Not yet. Not yet, Toga said, with Izuku slamming Dabi through a wall, revealing a massive room full of spikes. Izuku and Himiko ran in as they saw Mirio diving for Iri as a gunshot rang out. The world slowed for the two of them as their eyes strained from it. They saw the bullet going straight for Mirio's back. Izuku rushed in front, the bullet slicing it in half. He then dislocated and dislodged all the joints in his arms. 9th Fang, extending bendy slash, Izuku shouted, slicing the gun into 4 pieces, destroying it. Himiko ran towards the guy with the Black Plague mask, kicking his face and with both of her feet drop kicking him into the wall. Now who told you? To get hurt, Izuku shouted at Mirio, who stood up holding Eri. She was going to get shot with the gun. Mirio counter. You could have caught it. Short ass, Izuku yelled, looking up at Mirio. Take Eri and go. I will take care of the bird bastard, Izuku shouted, slicing the incoming spikes. Eri looked at them confused. Why were they trying to save her? She was a cursed child. Sudden the ground shifted drastically as Overhaul got impatient. Quit talking. I will be taking her back. She belongs to me to be tested on. Her sacrifice will save our planet from quirk plague, he shouted. Take Eri now. Your master is going to tear this monster's head off his body. That is an order. Take Kimiko with you. She will show the way, Izuku said in a cold way. Sorry bud, but can't leave my master's side now, can I? Mirio said, with his muscles expanding with yellow electricity coming off of him. Fine. Himiko, please keep her safe, Izuku said as she held her. Please, stop. I don't want you to die because of me. I am cursed. Eri begged as Izuku flicked her head. No, you aren't. He is wrong and I am going to beat him so I can save you. You aren't cursed. Anyone that says otherwise will get their asses kicked by me, Izuku said to her as she nodded. Let's go, disciple, Izuku shouted, rushing towards Overhaul with his blades turning light red. The charge straight towards Overhaul, with Mirio phasing through the spikes and with Izuku cutting through like butter. I will lop your head off, Izuku shouted, with Overhaul smiling under his mask. Not very hero-like, he shouted, evading Mirio, raising the ground into a pillar. I ain't a hero. I am the god of the forest. Izuku screamed, shattering the tower, making Overhaul free fall. Mirio comes and decks him in the chest with 25% punch. Ha 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 ha. This nothing. My plan will succeed, Overhaul stated, healing himself. B-boss, I can still help. His underling said weakly. Yes. Yes you can, he shouted, using his quirk to fuse the two together. Yellow kid. The legs, Izuku yelled, rushing forward. First fang, pierce, he said, stabbing his blades into all four arms. Mirio swept his legs, making him kneel, with Izuku keeping his arms locked down. Stay down, Izuku shouted, with Overhaul looking directly at his mask. Now I would do that? He said as the earth sunk into pit. You missed the part where my hands touched the ground, brat, Overhaul shouted, with both him and Mirio being pierced all over. Huh, looks like you two don't like to die? Overhaul said as they both pulled themselves off the spikes. Both bleeding heavily. Yellow kid, how did you not dodge that? Izuku asked, with blood spilling out. He got me by surprise. I swear. When we get out of here, I am tripling your training, Izuku stated, taking a couple steps forward. Why, you're joking, right? The hell is a joke. Oh. You act like you are going to survive this. Overhaul was interrupted, with both of his new arms being cut off. Sixth form, cat-legged winds of love, Himiko yelled, jumping past Overhaul, cutting his arms off. Here, I thought you two had this handled. Sorry. They both said, with Mirio's vision going blurry. He looks like Sir is going to mad at me, Mirio said, collapsing to his knees from the blood loss. Izuku removed his mask, turning him to stone so he wouldn't die. He went to do the same to Overhaul, only for his vision to blur as well. Shit, I can't see properly. I should done it earlier. Oh, you another ability. Seems the plague has evolved again. Himiko holds Eri in her arms as she tried to hold Izuku up. Man, you're heavy, but don't worry, I got you, Toga said, with Eri looking afraid. It's okay, Eri. I will get you out of here, Izuku said, patting her head. A large amount of spikes came them. Himiko changed her stance. Third form, cat love shower, she shouted, slicing them to bits. Himiko, drop me, take the kid and run now, Izuku ordered, with some of his wounds not even slightly closed. No, I am not leaving, she responded, slashing more spikes away. Oh, you want die alone? I can help you with that, Overhaul shouted, rushing with his form. The ground fluctuated, moving more violently than before. Overhaul was using his quirk more effectively in his new form. Second form, Love Pangs, Toga yelled, using her very bendable sword to slice anything that was dangerous to bits. You are not gonna hurt them anymore, Himiko shouted as Overhaul looked down on her. Now who put you in charge, infected? Overhaul simply put one of his arms down and sent an overwhelming amount of spikes at them. Die. Second form, Love Pangs, she shouted, cutting them the moment they are in range. Overhaul simply looked as Himiko cut the spikes. He sent out more as she continued. Suddenly the room lit up brightly as blue flames engulfed Himiko. Sorry for the wait, Overhaul, Dabi said, walking up to him. The masked brat knocked me out for a bit, Dabi said, looking at the fire he shot out. See a very burnt Izuku protecting semi-burnt Himiko and Eri. I barely felt that, he said, collapsing to the ground. Now that was just sad. He protected someone that is going to die anyways. Now Eri, come to me now, you cursed child, because that is all you are, Overhaul said, using his subordinate's quirk. Eri looked at the people who tried to help her. The two that protected her from the fire were on the ground covered in burns. Eri ran towards him. Eri, Himiko said as she continued to run towards Overhaul. Good girl, Overhaul said, pulling her hair and arm aggressively. Dabi's memories flashed before his eyes, so his arm lit up and blasted Overhaul in the face. Sorry bud, I may be a villain, but I have standards and I don't like people like you. You bring back some bad memories for me, Dabi said, picking up Eri. I knew I shouldn't have trusted you, Overhaul shouted, hitting him with a massive pillar in the gut, sending him flying back. Overhaul turned his attention to the large amount of steam building up in one area. Looks like you're not that bad, Scarface, Izuku yelled, with the steam suddenly stopping, still leaving some burns. Looks like that didn't last long, but that is all I need. Himiko, stay down, I will take care it. Izuku picked up Himiko. You did good, so take a nap for now, he said, placing her against a wall. He turned his attention to Overhaul. Izuku rushed him with Overhaul, sending hundreds of pillars at him. He didn't slow down for a second. I am going to kick your ass for hurting them, he shouted, slicing the incoming attack into bits. Why must you all get in my way of my cure? Overhaul yelled, holding Eri close to him as he sent out more spikes at Izuku. Who gives a shit? 'Cause I don't care for what you're trying to do. Izuku screamed, getting closer. You hurt Eri, Himiko and Yellow Kid. That's what you screwed up on. You messed with me. Shut up and die already, Overhaul shouted, with Izuku a couple feet in front of him. Third Fang, devour. He screamed, aiming for Overhaul's throat. Suddenly Overhaul held Eri up in front of him by her head. Izuku instantly diverted his blades away from her. Tough luck, you infected freak, Overhaul stated, grabbing his arm. All of his instincts went on overdrive as he saw his internal muscle fibers being ripped apart to shreds. His body moved on its own, with his right arm cutting off the other from the shoulder down, preventing the spread of the destruction. Izuku jumped back, breathing heavily, holding his left shoulder. Oh, you cut your own arm off to survive? Now I can commend your tenacity to live. It's like an animal backed against a corner, Overhaul said, grabbing his jagged blade and reducing it metal dust. Izuku focuses his breathing to stop the bleeding. Do that again and I am going to lose it, Izuku warned, as Overhaul just smiled with his masked, fused face. Looks like you need a hand? Let me help you, Overhaul yelled, rushing him, using Eri as a shield so Izuku couldn't hit him. I am the only one that can save this planet. I am the only one that knows how to use Eri like the tool she is, he continued, making a spike go through Izuku's right leg. Eri looked in pain as she was held by her head so the masked guy couldn't attack back. She saw him dodge, but moved forward regardless of the wounds he had on him. He reached his hand out as he got impaled in his other arm. Eri. Just go for it. I will catch you, he shouted as she reached out for his arm. Her horn began to glow very brightly and latched her hand onto Overhaul's that was holding her head. He instantly was reversed back to his normal form. Eri, you will. He didn't get to finish as fire hit his back. Over here, you damn bird, Dabi yelled out as Eri ran to Izuku. She quickly made it to him and leaped into his arm. There Ire, you are safe now. I am just going to kick his butt just for you, Izuku said as her horn shined brighter. Hey, my arm is back, he yelled out in surprise. I moved my fingers to see that they were all back. Ire, this is your power? I asked as she nodded scared. Then it's a perfect? I say as I noticed it was getting out of control. I unlatched my mask. Ire, this will protect you no matter what as long as you wear it. I say placing it on her. Her breathing got better and calmer with her power turning off. See, it works, I yelled, placing her on my back. She was holding the torn cape of Yellow Kid's. I wrap her and tie it across my body. I rush back with my one-blade eighth fang, explosive rush, I shouted as I went to slice his head off. Naive child, Overhaul shouted using his hand to block the blade. It pierced his hand as it exploded into metal dust like his other one. Now you got no weep. Izuku didn't let him finish and slammed his fist into Overhaul's gut. I got these hands, he shouted, wailing on Overhaul, not letting him recover. How does my knuckles taste like? He inhaled a large amount of air and spewed out fire from his mouth directing into Overhaul. The room suddenly became engulfed in blue flames as Dobby smiled. Hey Overhaul, it is time for me to say goodbye, he shouted as he blasted them with blue fire. His senses spiked to protect Ire and began to inhale the fire. He saw Dobby smile and walk backwards into black and purple mist, disappearing. A mark appeared on my chest again. My body felt like it was on fire with the blood flowing faster than usual. I will good use of this. Scarface, I yelled, releasing a massive amount of fire to Overhaul. You damn freak of nature, Overhaul yelled as his view of Izuku changed to one of a fire demon. He instantly smashed his hands into the ground, raising himself into the air with a massive pillar. Come back, I am going to tear you apart, Izuku yelled with his eyes shifting color to plain green. I want to rip you apart with my bare hands like brittle stone, he shouted, climbing the stone pillar. Get away from me, Overhaul yelled with Izuku spewing large amount of fire, burning himself a bit from it. They both smashed through the ceiling with the fire exploding out in large amounts. Night Eye and Eraserhead make it to the area they were fighting in. Mirio, he yelled out, going to the statue of Mirio. Toga, are you okay? Eraserhead yelled out, running to her. He shook her a bit as she opened her eyes. No, I don't want deer for breakfast, Izuku. She slurred. You're okay? Good. I mean, let's take you to the medical tent, he yelled, picking her up. As he looked up to Problem Child rocketing towards the leader of the Yakuza. Just don't die on me, Problem Child, he said as he rushed Toga out. I will kill you. You ruined everything, Overhaul yelled, sending out a large amount of spikes after Izuku. The flames turned bright blue with Izuku still spewing it out. As they exited the cavern, Izuku very bruised and burned. I am a fucking fire god, he shouted with his fingertips becoming stone. Izuku slammed his fist into the incoming spikes, shattering them. I am going to beat you into submission, he yelled and smashed his fist into Overhaul's forearm only to hear the cracking stone. The hell is happening? Overhaul yelled in confusion as his arm fell off, being fully turned to stone. So this is what the voice lady meant, Izuku said, looking at his hands. I am so awesome. Overhaul stared at his petrified arm on the ground in shock. The hell happening? My plan was so close to finishing, yet they got in my way. I have to kill him. No, I have killed them all. I don't care if Ire dies, she can always be resembled. He thought, repairing his missing arm. He sped towards Izuku, shifting the ground into hundreds of spikes, aiming to kill his target. Izuku sees this coming and gets into a battle stance. Let's see who is stronger, Izuku shouted, colliding his fist into Overhaul's palm. Turning it to stone and evading his other hand by kicking him away. So this works with my hands touching his body. That is so cool, he yelled, noticing his fingers were stoned, so there's a backlash. Overhaul broke off his stone hand and repaired it completely. His eyes shifted to his massive knocked out subordinate. He rushed towards with Izuku running after him. Come back. No running from me. Fight me. Fight me, he yelled, noticing the knocked out dragon and semi-awake in turns. Overhaul makes a massive wall to slow him down from catching up. Overhaul slammed his hand onto his follower and he erupted, only leaving a red mist of his blood around Overhaul. "Time to serve your purpose," he shouted, deconstructing himself as well, then fusing into large red-armed monstrosity. His golden eyes narrowed on the heroes that were below him. Bugs. He went to squash them. "Hey fat maggot," Izuku yelled from behind, turning the back of his legs to stone, then breaking them. "Who gave you the right to trample on people's lives?" he shouted, breaking Overhaul's lower half. "Tell me. I am getting rid of the infected. That means I can do anything I want to cure them, even if they have to die to be cured," he responded. "Fine, you fat maggot. I will show you how wrong you are," Izuku shouted, with his body shifting dramatically, growing larger with scales cover him. Eri held onto a spine of the massive head of the beast, transforming. "Oh, you can turn into a massive snake. What the hell can you not do?" Overhaul yelled, grabbing the neck of the serpent while roared and it coiled around him. Suddenly the two of them began to float into the air. "Midoriya, take him to the sky," Uraka yelled, with Ryukyu joining the air fight. "You think it will turn out okay?" Karosu asked. "It's Midoriya, he always bounces back no matter cost," Uraka said, trying to hold in her lunch. "I have hold them in the sky for as long as I can. I don't want extra training." The massive serpent bit down into Overhaul's massive form. "Damn animal," he yelled, prying the jaws open, with Ryukyu coming in, using her claws to slash at Overhaul. Izuku constricted Overhaul's body, making sure that he couldn't move. "You can't stop me like this, you animal. I can do more than just move bigger arms," he said, manipulating the body to explode back into a red mist, then resembling himself, making more limbs. Then latching them onto the massive serpent, squeezing very tightly. "Ha ha ha ha, all bark and no bite, you naive child," Overhaul yelled, noticing Eri on the head. "Oh, you're here. Now that makes me doing this easier. This is what happens, you decided to run from me, people die and it is all your fault. Eri," he shouted, making more limbs, prying Izuku's jaw open, making it go wider, then twisting the entire head, making a enormous snapping sound, with serpent's eyes turning completely white. Eri held on to dear life on his spine as the head was twisted for her to fall. Ryukyu stabbed her entire arm through Overhaul's body, only for more limbs to lock her place. "The same will go for you, hero," he shouted, as began to pry her jaw open as well. Eri watched in horror, with Overhaul about to twist the head of Ryukyu. "Hey over, bitch." Overhaul turned his head to see Izuku exiting from the serpent's mouth, diving toward him covered in saliva. "You forgot I am a fucking god." Izuku landed on top of him as they began to fall from the sky. Round face must have gone over her limit. "Needs to be better, extra training for her," he said, looking away, then turned his to Overhaul, smiling wickedly. "Let me see how you like getting your jaw broken," he yelled, slamming his fist repeatedly into Overhaul's face. "This is for everything you've done to my friends," Izuku yelled, bashing knee into his gut. Then grabbed Overhaul's head and slammed his head into his, following it up by repeatedly bashing his ribs with his knuckle. Overhaul tried to escape, only for Izuku to hold him down, making both his hands stone. "You ain't leaving. I will hold you here. No matter what happens to me, you will stay here with me. Lizard, grab Eri now." Ryukyu dislodged herself as they fell. She quickly grabbed Eri from the massive dead snake. Hey, what about him?" she yelled, pointing at Izuku, who was still swinging on Overhaul's bloody face with a massive smile. "He will be fine. From my interns have told me he won't die from something like this," Ryukyu said, holding Eri closer and spreading her wings to greatly slow her descent to the ground. Izuku grabbed Overhaul's shirt and tore him out the monster form as they got close to the ground. "Stop, we are both going die," Overhaul stuttered out. "So? I don't care. I said we'll hold you here no matter what," Izuku said, placing his hand on Overhaul's head, turning him to stone as his arms from the elbow down turned to stone as well. Izuku looked at the ground as it got closer. He took a deep breath and closed his eyes. Soon they crashed into the earth at a very fast speed, making a large dust cloud. Sue and Uraka ran towards the dust cloud to see the massive snake form turning to steam along with the monster Overhaul form. They made it to the center sea, a fully petrified Overhaul broken into parts with Izuku laying face first on the ground with arms being stone stumps covered in blood. They weren't sure if it was all his. Sue instantly flipped him over and placed her ear to his chest and she heard a beat. She sighed in relief. He is alive, thank goodness. Sue said as Ryukyu landed next to them. Is he alright? She asked with Iri running towards him. He will be fine, but his pulse is becoming irregular. We need a medic, Uraka said, checking his pulse again. Iri's horn began to glow very brightly. I'll let me save you too, she stuttered out, placing her hands onto Izuku's chest. His entire body began to glow brightly with his wounds closing and healing. The light soon died down as Iri moved the mask, see if she did it right. His arms were still stone stumps, but his eyes soon flickered open to reveal two bright green pupils for eyes. His mouth opened to speak. I'm hungry, gimme something to eat. Izuku/Midoriya. Sue and Uraka yelled, hugging him tightly. Give me food. Oi Dabi. You good/go to hell, Twice said with Dabi nodding. So did we get the bullets or the girl? Shigaraki asked with them, with Dabi speaking up. No. The girl got shot with the quirk erasing bullet and the bullets were destroyed by a green-haired kid, he said with a stone face. Really? Well, is Overhaul at least dead? Shigaraki asked Dabi. He was turned to stone like muscular by the green-hair kid who can also turn into a big snake. He responded. So dead? Good, I hated him a lot. Pompous prick got what he deserved. Ha 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 ha, Shigaraki laughed till a thought appeared in his mind. A green-haired kid beat him and turned him into stone. That can also turn into a massive serpent. The same from the camp attack? One for all hasn't been that much of a problem, but this kid has been a torn and he is one of the main reasons Sensei got captured. Shigaraki muttered. I will kill the kid soon, but first let's deal with that pesky doctor that won't help us. Kurogiri, I need you to stay hidden until we need you. You're our taxi after all, can't have you captured, but open a portal to Gigantamakia. I have to get him to listen to me, Shigaraki said, entering the portal, disappearing. Twice keep quiet about the girl and Toga, Dabi said, walking away with Twice shaking his silently. The hell are you two talking about? Spinner asked. Nothing, Dabi said, disappearing into the hallway. Compress walked in with a plate of burnt cookies. For mange anybody? He asked as the two took a cookie. They munched in silence for their fallen ally. Izuku looked around till a certain smell made him hungry. Food, Izuku yelled as got up quickly away from their hug with his mouth watering. His eyes shifted wildly as he got a whiff of blood. He dove towards it, digging through Overhaul's cloths to find a small black case. Fawad, he shouted, crushing it open and shoving the 5 capsules inside into his mouth. Izuku then crushed them to bits, letting the contents inside flow down his throat. They all look at him shocked, with Sue walking up behind him grabbing his shoulder. Izuku, what are you doing? She asked with his head slowly turning to her. She peered into his eyes. They turned a deep red with his pupils becoming cat-like. His nose twitched, sniffing her scent as his mouth watered from it. He opened his mouth to show that his fangs grew larger. Izuku? He tackled her to ground, baring his enlarged fangs. Food, he shouted, going in for a bite. Only to get a clump of dirt thrown into his eyes. Izuku, this isn't you, stop. Sue yelled, kicking him off of her. He did his best to rub his eyes with his stumps for arms. Gara, he shouted, standing up. His mouth leaked as his eyes focused on Asui. Prey is food. My food, he yelled, running at her, getting tackled and held down by Uraka. His vision narrowed on her. Your food too. He screamed, trying to take a bite of Uraka's arm. Iri stared and looked at her hands, believing it was her fault. She threw the mask to the ground with her tears flowing. Izuku looked at her, calming down a bit, then his eyes shifted to Tsuyu, who had some tears of her own. They both looked at him in fear of what he was doing. He stopped looking at his actions. He was acting like an animal that was going to kill for food. He then broke out the hold that Uraka had on him. He ran straight towards them. He gave them the best hug he could with his stumpy arms could give. "Sorry for that little one, and to you too, pray," he said lowly with his eyes flashing back and forth green then back to red. "Food?" he shouted once more till his eyes stayed green, then slammed his head into the ground, knocking himself out. Tsuyu picked him up and held his unconscious body as the pros showed up. They picked a sleeping Ryukyu and Nahir. "Sue, what happened?" Uraka asked as she held Izuku tighter. I don't know, but Izuku didn't mean to try to eat us on purpose. Ribbit, she responded with eerie looking at the knocked-out Izuku. "It's my fault. I am cursed child, and he did this because I used my Q-Cork on him," Eri cried, falling to her knees. Tsuyu put Izuku down to the ground. She then wrapped Eri into a hug. "No, you aren't. He would be in the medical wing if it weren't for you. He has always been to the wild side, Karo, so he would done this regardless if you helped or not. You aren't a cursed child, you are just a kid in a bad situation." "Karo," Sue said, cradling Eri. "You helped us when you didn't have to. That makes you our hero." Sue finished with Eri crying into her shoulder till she slowly went to sleep. Uraka grabbed the mask that was on the ground. She walked up and placed it into Eri's arms that she hugged tightly. "I don't think Izuku is getting that mask back anytime soon," Uraka chuckled. Sue looked down to Eri holding the mask tightly. "I'm sure that he would be fine with that." Karo, Sue said, moving Eri's hair away from her face. "Problem child, what happened?" Aizawa asked, showing up only see his student sitting down holding the little girl. Uraka looked up. "Well, we won, that what I say. How are the others?" she asked him. "Toga has minor burns and Kirishima has a broken leg and arm. Other than that they are completely fine. Though Kirishima keeps begging me to hide him from Problem Child," he said, scratching his head. "Mirio is currently a statue, so we need Midoriya to turn him back," he continued, and walked towards the knockout Izuku. He reaching into his back pocket. "Sir, you're not going to take one of his teeth, right?" Karosu asked him. "Of course not, that would land me in jail. I noticed that Midoriya likes meat, so I asked for beef jerky for him. So he would give me the tooth for the meat," Aizawa said, opening the packet. He waved the jerky over Izuku's nose that twitched to sniffed it. Izuku's eyes ripped open, blood red again, and Aizawa threw the jerky up into the air. Izuku jumped towards it, chomping down on it. "So good," he slurred due to his self-inflicted concussion. "Problem child, I will give you more if we trade for a tooth," he offered as Izuku's eyes slowly changed back to green. "Sure thing. Hobo," he yelled, taking out one of his fangs with his tongue. He spat the tooth to Aizawa that he caught. So he tossed packet of jerky to Izuku that he caught with his teeth. Izuku looked around to see the three girls. He walked over to them. He sat down next them, looking down. He tossed them the jerky. "Sorry." Sue took the packet and opened it. She took out a piece and fed it to Izuku. "At least you said you were sorry. So I accept the apology because you mean it." Karosu said, eating a piece as well. Uraka grabbed one as well. "It's a good thing that you apologized, Izuku, so we're good. Plus Bakugo would have just walked angrily," Uraka says, placing her hand on his shoulder. He looks at her, then nods. "Thanks, round face. No extra training for the two of you. I will get some that stuff you like," he said, munching on the jerky. "You mean mochi?" "Yeah, sure," he yelled, noticing something. "Hey, you guy ain't stone yet." "You're right. Does mean you lost it?" Uraka yelled in surprise, touching her face. "I will be fine for now." "Hey kid, where is the boss?" a police officer asked him. "Somewhere in that pile of rock." "Oh, can you look for my arms in that pile?" Izuku said as they found the shattered statue of Overhaul. "This might take time to rebuild, so take everything." "Oh, and kid, can you turn him back?" he asked. "Yeah, just rebuild him and I can turn him back." The cops loaded the pieces into bags. "Wait, when can I get my arms back?" Izuku thought to himself, who cares, I can use my feet. The raid was officially over. There were no causalities due to the fact that the gang members couldn't individually beat the heroes. Lemillion was still a statue until Eraserhead used Izuku's tooth to turn him back. Wait, I don't want extra tray. Mirio looked around feeling himself. I'm injured anymore. He says as Night Eye gave him a hug. Thank you, sir. Looks like Midoriya's petrifaction has a small healing factor to it. Noted. Aizawa thought in his head. Though a certain greenhead is currently searching for his disciples to see if they are injured or not. Fangs. Shitty hair. Where the fuck are you? Izuku yelled out, annoying the cops and heroes around. Kid, shut up already, Rocklock yelled at him. Make me afro. Izuku shouted back at him, you know what, I think I will. Rocklock screamed, getting into a fighting stance. The same could be said for the no-armed god of the flaming forest. The two were about to go at it till Uraka and Tsuyu pulled him away. We are so sorry, Sir Rocklock, he is just very worried about our friends, Uraka shouted, pulling a floating Izuku away as he shouted profanities. Izuku, please calm down, we will find them. Karo, Tsuyu said, holding Eri, who is still napping, in her arms. Fine, I will calm down. Just let me down so I can calmly walk with you extras, Izuku said, laying face up, looking straight into the blue sky. No, because the moment I let you down we'll probably run back to Rocklock to fight him, Uraka said as she continued to float him to the medbay. Fine, have it your way, Mochi. Izuku says, floating constantly, looking at the sleeping Eri to make sure that she was safe. Hey, pray you think that I will get to keep Eri with me? He asked Sue. I don't know, Izuku. I really don't, because her parents could still be alive or they will just send her into the foster care system. She answered truthfully. Then I will just take her. He sternly said, with Tsuyu sighing. I just hope you don't do anything too illegal, Izuku. She responded, patting his head. Soon the trio made it to the medical bay to see Toga laying in a bed. A doctor was using his quirk. He had light brown hair and a blue suit on. His eyes were a light green and he was fairly tall. Hey, you must be her friends. I am about done healing her. She had some burns, but nothing I can't fix, he said, finishing up and walking away. Hey Izuku, sorry for helping enough. You wasted your time training me, Himiko said, looking down. He gave her the best hug he could. You did great. You helped save Eri. If it weren't for you, Eri would still be with Crow Bastard. So you did enough to help me, Izuku yelled at her, trying to cheer her up. She looked at him and smiled. You really have a way with words, she said, patting his back, noticing his arms or lack thereof. What happened to your arms? She yelled in confusion, patting him down. Don't worry about them, I will get them fixed soon. Plus I can use this to get stronger because I got legs, Izuku reassured, waving his stumps around. Also, wear his shitty hair? I need to see if he got hurt, because if he did that means extra training for his weak ass, Izuku yelled, with his eyes shifting towards person a couple beds over. The person was bandaged up and had cast on their arms. Though the thing that stuck out about the person that they had a brown paper bag over their head. It had eye holes to see and with a drawn smiley face on it. Izuku walked over to the person. Hey, he yelled, with the person flinching. Yes. They answered, with Izuku leaning in to inspect them. Have you seen a red spiky hair brat that yells manly for no reason? Izuku asked them, and they shook their head no. And no, I have not, sir. I am just Bagman, the bagging hero of justice. I hurt from a big villain with very strong punches, he says, making his voice deeper. Izuku nodded and walked back to the girls. Aizawa showed up and told them that they were going back to UA with Eri because Nezu pulling a couple strings. They all walked away to his car, driving away back to UA with the bagman watching them leave. Skinny Gum appear with Tamaki also bandaged up from taking on a couple goons. See, I told you the bagman persona would work. It worked for when I was hiding from my ex, he said, patting his back. Bagman took off his bag head to reveal Kirishima. Thank God that worked, because I am pretty sure that I would running laps right now with him chasing me with his swords, Kirishima said, full of relief. Though I might need to keep the persona a bit longer till I am fully healed, he said, smiling. I'm a mummy right now. Cut to UA. Izuku walked up to the dorm doors and kicked it open. Sup bitches, he shouted as they stared at him. Guys, Midoriya and the rest are back, Tokage yelled as they rushed down. Hey lizard, is there any food? Izuku shouted with Tokage nodding. We sort of always make sure there is food for you because we'd rather live. Tokage stopped talking as she scanned Izuku. The hell happened to your arms? She shouted, lifting him. I lost them, duh. What, are you dumb? He answered her like that was the obvious answer. Does it hurt? She asked, poking the stubs. This is just a flesh wound. Izuku, do you want a mushroom? Shroom Kanoko asked, walking up to him. He crouched down as she stared deeply into his eyes. Here you go, and you have nice eyes. She complimented, hand-feeding him the mushroom that he really enjoyed. Deku. Why the fuck can't you turn anybody to stone? Katsuki shouted, grabbing his face. I lost it, he said, munching on the mushroom. You know what, forget it. You will probably pull something out of your ass to compensate for it, he shouted, walking away. Hey Izuku, what's with the kid? Jiro asked. I took her as my own like I did with Kota, he said casually. Jiro looked him, then looked at Eri. Cool, and can we talk later? She asked. Sure thing, purple hair. Partner. They all turned to see a grease-covered pink-haired inventor running at them full speed. Hey pink hair, he shouted, waving his stubs at her. I have a baby for you to test out. Also, I saw the fight with the crow head from the mask. It was like watching an action movie, she shouted with a box in her hand. Toga sees this, speaks up. No way, Hatsune. Izuku just got back from a mission, so no testing for him, she said, standing in front of Hatsune. Says who? She responded, putting her box down. Me, Toga says, stepping up to her. Last time I checked, you're not in charge of him, Blondie. I am his partner and I have say in what he does. Toga says with her cat eyes dilating. Well, it just so happens to be that I am also his partner and I have the paperwork to prove it. Now what are you going to do about it? Let's ask him. Izuku, who are you going to listen to? Toga asked, turning around to see him gone. Hatsune also looks over to see. Their eyes scan around to find him and saw that Ibara was holding Eri while Tsuyu and Kanoko helped him eat by hand, feeding him. With Tokage messing around, placing her arms where his stubs are. See Izuku, you still have arms, she said, messing with his hair. Izuku looks over. Hey, you guys want some? He asked as they looked at each other. Sure thing. They both say at the same time. Oh pink, I mean may I need a favor, Izuku said, catching her a bit off guard. Sure, what is it? She questioned, taking a bite of katsudon. He looked at the sleeping Eri who was holding her mask very tightly. I am going to need a new mask. New mask? She asked, with Izuku nodding. Her eyes zoomed into Eri who was sleeping holding his mask. Ah, I see. Any requests for the design? She asked, taking out a notepad. Big bro, you're back, Kota yelled, hugging him. Hey Kota. Meet my other heir. She will be your partner in battle. Izuku proclaimed, showing Kota Eri who is still sleeping. Cool. Why does she have your mask? He asked. It's hers now, like how you got the black blade. Izuku explained, patting his head. It's sort of weird that you are patting Kota's head with your stubs. Shroom Kanoko said, with Kota nodding. Mei looked at Eri and Kota, noticing that the two have a horn or horns. She noted it down, then used the former mask as reference on how it should look. Pink hair. When can the mask be done? Izuku asked her as she grabbed his face with her palm. Then followed it up, skimming her hands all over his face. Measurements complete, and it should be done in a couple days for the fact that I forged 2 more blades. She spoke, removing her hand from his face. To reveal a grease and soot covering his face. Great. Then you should get some rest. You just got back from a deadly mission, so rest, Himiko said, wiping the grime off his face. Fine, I will stay in my room. Kota, come on. No, I should bring Eri with me too. He says, going to pick up Eri, then noticed he didn't have hands. Izuku, do not fret, I will hold her for you, Ibara said, getting up. Fine. Purple hair, you said you wanted to talk, so follow me, minion. He shouts, with Jiro following him. Okay boss. She sarcastically says, I like the sound of that. Izuku responds, reaching his dorm room. Ibara turns the knob to open the door. It's locked. Do you have the key? Yes, I do, he said, kicking the door wide open, breaking the lock. See, I have the key. It's my foot, he says, smiling like wild maniac. Gotta say, it's a nice key. An amused Jiro says, with Ibara nodding. The room was revelatory. Normal, some photos up from his childhood days before he went missing. A bed with black blankets and pillows. Along with a cabinet for his cloths, along with a desk. Vines, you can lay in the bed with Eri if you want. Kota, I got the stuff under the bed and purple hair. What did you want to talk about? He asked in a calm tone that sort of threw her off. Well, I need help with the moves you gave me, she admitted, with Izuku nodding. That's alright, it's my fault for not training you when I am supposed to. I just have been busy with Eri, he responded, with Jiro being surprised. Wait, you're not mad? She asked hesitatingly. Izuku shook his head. I am not mad because I know how hard this is. I struggled with it more because I didn't have a guide or help. So struggling is normal, but it's unacceptable how bad of a teacher I've been to you and the others, he said, with Kota crawling out from under the bed. Then why does Kota do it so easily? She asked, with Izuku smiling. He's just a natural, but talent doesn't mean he will instantly win, because there will always be someone that beats talent with skill, Izuku said, pointing at her, with Kota handing him a box. He opens it to reveal a buttload of snacks. How did you get this many? You don't even shop, Jiro exclaimed. Shh, the little one is sleeping, Ibara says, with them nodding. I saw them and took them, Izuku said, grabbing a bag of chips. So you stole them? She asked. Do you want some or not? Izuku asked, with her nodding. I am pretty sure they're auntie's, but as long as she doesn't find out, we are good, Kota said, stuffing his face. Oh Kota, I got something for you, Izuku said, opening a cabinet with his foot. He took out a notebook filled with information, and on the cover was the word water. I made these specifically for you so you can use a breathing technique. Kota opened it and his face lit up like a Christmas tree. He tackled Izuku like a bull, hugging him very tightly. Thanks, big bro, he said, hopping up and down. I am going to practice this right now, he shouted, running out. Izuku got up and shut the door, then opened the bag of chips with his feet. Izuku then transformed into his small form. Time to dig in, he shouted, jumping into the chip bag, eating away. Jiro looked at him and smiled, taking a bite of her chocolate. Shio, you want anything? She asked. No thanks, I am on a diet. Really now? You seem in great shape to me. Izuku poked his out of the bag. No, she has fat on her chest, he squeaked. Ibara grabbed him with her vines. That isn't fat, she said to him. Yes it is. Then tell me, why doesn't purple hair have them as big as yours? He countered, with Jiro looking at her chest. I can't choose how I am born, the Lord made me this way, she said, squeezing him. What Lord? You always say the Lord something something, but I never see him or her, he shouted. It's the creator of our world, she says. How do you know it is real? Izuku asked. I know he is real because I met a demon before. If there are demons, there are angels. Meaning the Lord is real, she shouted at him. A demon? What's that? Izuku asked, confused. They were the followers of the Demon King, but the one I met was nice, only painted pictures of a woman he loved. Her name was Tamayo, Ibara said, not knowing why she said all that. He sounds boring, Izuku said, with a bored face. Wait, demons are real? And you've met one? Jiro exclaimed. Yes, I have. That is why a strong faith because of him, she said, looking at Izuku. When I met him, he told me all he wants is to be left alone so he can paint, Ibara said. Suddenly Eri let out a glass-breaking scream of terror. Stop it. It hurts. Please, no more cuts, she shouted. Izuku instantly grew full size, comforting her. It's okay. I beat up the Birdman, he won't hurt you anymore. I will protect you, he said too, as she calmed down. She quickly looked around for the mask, putting it on. Her breathing became more stable. See, the mask will protect you no matter what, and so will I, he said as she hugged him. Please don't leave me alone. I will never do that. I will always come back for you, Izuku says, fixing the mask so she can properly see. I will be with you until you are ready to leave me, Izuku said as she held on to him. But what if you die and I am still here? She asked with Izuku standing her up and peered directly into her eyes. By then you will be all grown up and you won't need me anymore. He responded smiling. I think I'll always need you. Iri whispers as he patted her head. Then Kota will be there with you if I am not. Don't count me and the others out. We will be with you as well, Jiro said patting her head. I will help the little angel as well, Ibara said hugging her. Iri felt the warmth of the hug and hugged back. Some hours passed as Iri got adjusted to them. She was given a candy apple that Izuku had in the box that he found. Jiro and Ibara soon got up to leave only for Iri to speak up. Can you guys stay the night? She asked. Sure thing little one, Ibara said getting in bed with her. Izuku, is it okay? Jiro asked with him nodding. I don't even use the room. I usually sleep outside with Prey giving me breakfast. That would explain why room is so clean. Jiro snickered with Izuku sitting against the wall. She got into the bed with Iri being in the middle with Shiozaki on her left. Mr. are going to join? Iri asked with Izuku shaking his head. No. I move too much and I am keeping watch so you can sleep with no monsters coming after you, he said with Iri nodding falling asleep with the girls. Izuku watched for hours till his eyes shut falling into a deep slumber. He opened his eyes to feel a burning sensation around him. He looked around to see a burning forest with people looking at him like a monster. He blew fire at them as the flames around him began to consume him. He awoke in a cold sweat with Iri standing in front of him. Mister, did you have a bad dream? She asked as he nodded. She sat next to him closely hugging him. Do you need the mask? It will protect you. She offered with Izuku shaking his head. No. It's yours and you need it more, he said as his eyes shifted to his balcony watching the sun rise. A bit of steam rose off him as the rays hit him. Shiozaki and Jiro awoke to see Izuku with Iri on his lap sleeping. You know, for the most macho guy in our class to be taking care of little girl is kinda nice to see how human he really is, Jiro said getting out of the bed. Yes, it's quite nice that he can act like a doting father to her. Though my one question is, how does she see him as? Shiozaki asked sitting up to see Jiro moving Iri's hair away from the top of her mask. Let's just hope that she doesn't become like him in the way that she can easily beat us all up, Jiro stated ruffling Izuku's hair. His head shot up attempting to bite her hand. Then suddenly locked eyes with hers. Hey purple hair, I thought you were food trying to attack me. He says not being able to get up because Iri was snuggled up on his lap. Let me help you with her, Shiozaki said picking her up and cradling her. Izuku saw this and an idea popped into his head. Can you help me with her? He asked with the two girls looking at him confused. Izuku, what do you mean? Jiro asked with Izuku sighing. I can't provide her with everything she needs. Iri needs people to rely on when I am not with her. I don't know what I am doing when it comes to raising a child. I grew in the woods fighting for my life. It wasn't normal. I can't raise her like I was, Izuku stated looking down. So I am asking for a favor. Anything you want from me I will give to you, he said bowing his head to them. The two stepped back in shock from his words. Jiro pulled him into hug. You dummy, of course we will help you. You're not alone because all of us will help protect and raise Iri, she said as he hugged back. Yes, we will all raise the young one because she been through too much. It's only right that we help her, Shiozaki stated holding Iri. He looked at them and smiled. That was genuine, not one filled with eagerness to fight. One filled with actual appreciation for another's help. This look made the girls feel weird in their chest, a feeling that made them happy. Looks like Izuku can smile. That doesn't make him look like he is about to kill you, Himiko said at the door frame. You cannot again, Jiro said looking away. Big bro. Come with me. I have to show you something. Kota ran in pulling him. Okay Kota, let's go and eat first, then you can show me, Izuku said leaving the room. The girls looked at each then followed the two boys that made their way towards the dining hall. They all made it to see Izuku evading Kota's black knicker and blade with water following after it. Not bad. But you are too forward with attacking. Making yourself able to be read and countered, Izuku said, stomping the ground, making Kota lose his footing. Falling forward with his blade going directly towards Izuku. He raises his foot, catching the said blade with his toes. Aw, dang it. I thought I had it completely covered, Kota said, getting up. Once you master it you will be unbeatable. Well, until you beat me, and I am mountains ahead of you. So in due time you will surpass me, Izuku said, giving back the blade that Kota put back in the sheath. So when I am older I will be able to stand a chance? He asked, with Izuku nodding. Then I will take that chance. Even if it's a 1% chance that I can beat you, I will turn that 1% into 100%, Kota declared, with Izuku getting excited. I like the spirit. So I will be waiting for you to beat me. Once you do you will gain my title, Izuku shouted, fire spewing from his mouth like a dragon, wildly, almost burning down the dorms. Hey, no burning down the dorm, Tokage said, coming out with a fire extinguisher, then spraying Izuku down. With Izuku falling down face first, shivering. I hate the sea cold. He chattered as he went into brumation, staying completely still. Oh shit. I forgot that he can't be in the cold, Tokage shouted, with Tsuyu running down, wrapping him in her heating blanket. Thanks Pray, he said in a low voice, with Tsu just nodding. So when you said you hated the cold you were serious, huh? Karosu asked, with him nodding his head. I don't like it either. Momo looked at the scene, writing down notes on what happened. Eri awoke, peering around and seeing Izuku on the ground. Papa, she shouted, struggling out of the arms of Ibara, who put her down. Eri ran past everyone, reaching Izuku, lifting the blanket, patting him down to see if he was okay. Eri, I'm fine, go have some food, you must be hungry. Izuku says, shivering. Also, why did you call me that? He asked, with everyone in the room recovering from the shock of what they heard. Can I not call that? She asked, sounding like she was on the verge of crying. No, you can call me whatever you want. Just that it shocked me that you called me that, he said, assuring her, shakily getting up. Oh okay, thanks Papa, Eri said, sticking close to him as the two walked to the kitchen. Can I have an apple? She asked, with Izuku nodding. Izuku, let me help, Himiko said, grabbing an apple, then quickly sliced it in bite-sized bits. Thank you vampire lady, Eri said, hugging her and with Toga's chest tightening. Oi Deku, hurry up and get your arms back. I wanna prove that I can beat you, Katsuki yelled, with Izuku smirking. Sure? I wanna fight you too, he declared as Aizawa walked in with a half-dead Mineta behind him. Hello class, please welcome Mineta Minoru back to the hero class, he said sarcastically. How? Katsuki shouted. He begged Nezu for a chance, so Nezu gave him the impossible challenge of a 10,000-page essay about quirk discrimination and discrimination quirkless people. He explained, with Mineta falling forward, passing out. The class looked at him disgusted, then back their teacher. The fuck is that? Oh wait, it's small fry. Izuku thought, with Eri giving him an apple piece that gladly accepted. Kota walked up to Eri and she shared with him too. Also, you all have to be ready for the next school event. It's the annual UA festival, so you all have to show your creativity, he said, with class looking excited. The fuck is that? Izuku asked, with Eri and Kota looking at him following his example. Fuck. They both shouted. Instantly all the girls smacked Izuku. No more cursing in front of the kids, Izuku. Karosu said menacingly as he nodded. But seriously, what is this festival you speak of? Izuku asked, raising his hand. Is it a battle to the death? No Midoriya, it is an event where each class has to create a show that can entertain people who show up, Aizawa said, walking away. You all have a week and a half to come with something. So I do something that is really cool and people praise me like they should? Izuku said, thinking of what he could do. All of us have to shine for UA, so it can't be about you, Momo said, with Izuku ignoring her. I know. Fire. Lots and lots of fire, he shouted, with Tokage tapping the fire extinguisher, making him calm down. His eyes shifted to Eri and he peered at her intently. "Why aren't you smiling, little one?" he asked as she took off the mask. "Why, you can't tell?" she asked, looking down. "Of course I can," he said as she shifted side to side. "I don't know how to smile. I think I see can anymore." Eri spoke sadly as something in Izuku snapped. Everyone felt a massive wave of killer's intent filled with rage. He noticed and stopped as everyone began to breathe again. He suddenly became all jolly. "Don't worry, Eri. We will find a way for you to smile. I promise." He promised, filled determination. Momo saw the scene and smiled. "At least he is nice to the kids," she thought as she spoke up. "Okay. How about we split up 2 teams like how our classes were before? So we can maximize the people that can enjoy the festival," she suggested with the class nodding. "That is great idea, but let's make a bet so we can try our hardest to make the best product," Kendo suggested. "Go on, we are all ears," Manema said eagerly. "Which side of the class does better gets to choose who fights Midoriya first when he gets back his arms," she said with Izuku being all ears, being excited. "That sounds like fun, so let's split up to see what we can produce," Momo said as they all riled up. Soon the 2 former classes went to separate rooms to discuss what to do. Tenya soon came up with an idea so they all could come up with more ideas for the festival. "How about we separate the boys from the girls for a bit to see what we come up with and compare?" he said with all of them nodding, with Izuku teaching Kota and Eri proper form when holding a Nichiren blade. Soon they all separated again to come up with some ideas. A couple were thrown around like a maid cafe or a full-on play. Though very quickly the conversation turned into asking questions about each other. "Let's get back on track," Ida said, getting cut off. "Guys, which one of us is the strongest?" Sero asked, bringing up a good question. "Well, for starters, Midoriya has the most skill, but without the massive serpent mode he definitely doesn't have the most firepower." Ida answered. "Then it has to be Todoroki that has the most strongest quirk, but he just lacks the know-how on the way to use it," Kaminari said as Todoroki stayed silent. "That doesn't really matter. A quirk can only take someone so far. Bakugo proved that when he lost his, but is still just as strong if not stronger than he was before," Sato stated, eating his cake. "Quick question. What type of girls are you all into?" Mineta shouted, interrupting them. They looked at him annoyed. Some chose to humor him and answered the question. Some of them did not answer, choosing to stay silent. "Oh, I know mine. I like older women," Denki shouted. "You say that after seeing Bakugo's mom," Todoroki said quietly. Bakugo was about to attack Kaminari till Sero taped him down. "As long we have a nice and equal relationship I am fine," Todoroki said, eating his cold soba. "That's boring," Mineta shouted as he looked at Ida. "Well, for me, I want a relationship that the 2 of us benefit from." He hand chopped with his single arm. Mineta looked at him disappointed. "You guys are missing the point of the question. What type of women? Like big boobs or big butts?" he screamed with his eyes narrowing on Izuku, who was not paying attention to them. "Okay. Eri, strike down using what I taught you," he said as she swung down on an apple. She got very close to cutting it till she stopped. "I can't, it's an apple, I can't cut it," she sadly said, grabbing it and caressing the said apple. "It's too precious," she said with her mouth watering from the sight of it. "Okay, then we can get a banana for you to chew." Izuku stopped talking to see that Eri only had an apple core left. "Where's the rest of the apple?" he asked, with Eri looking at what's left, then looking back at Izuku. "It lost weight and G got skinny," she shouted, wiping away the residue juice on the side of her mouth with Kota laughing behind her. Izuku looked at her, then nodded. "Midoriya." He looked over to see the rest of the class looking at him. "What do you want?" "I am training my heirs," he shouted at them. "What type of girl do you like, and when are getting a girlfriend?" Mineta asked him directly. "Hey, why did you change the question?" Sero asked, with Mineta hushing him like an animal. In a low voice Sero voiced his opinion on him. "Douchebag. Ah, women. Oh, I know what I like," Izuku shouted, with everybody looking at him with content. "I like strong women." Also if they're feisty that just adds to it, Izuku shouted, shocking them. And for the girlfriend part, I am going to have lots of women by my side, he shouted, shocking them more. As in plural? Multiple girls? How are you going to do that? Mineta asked, shouting. By being the strongest, duh. You Doomba. He stopped himself, looking at Eri and Kota. They looked like they were too ready to copy what he was about to say. Idiot. I was going to say idiot, he said as the two nodded and he sighed. Deku. Who the hell gave the idea of having multiple women? Bakugo asked him. Granny did. We don't have a grandma. They're all dead. Granny Spine. She taught me survive in the forest. She was a big snake with multiple guys with her, he said with Todoroki doing a quick Google search. Well, it says on the internet that female snakes have multiple male mates when they are mating. Looks like Midoriya got influence in that regard from the fact the serpent raised him for a bit, he said, reading off his phone. Quick question, Midoriya, where is your quote-unquote granny? Ida asked him. Oh, she died a while ago. What happened to the body? I ate it. Wait. You ate your former caretaker? Ida asked with the class looking at him in fear of his answer. Yeah. Can't let good food go to waste. Though it took a week to completely eat her because she was just so big. I think she was bigger than my massive serpent mode, he said, thinking back. The boys looked at him in shock. Quick question. Kaminari says, shaking. Ask away. Did you get the big form after eating her or did you have it before? He asked. Izuku thought about it for a bit. After. Oh God. Mineta. Why did you ask him for his opinion on the type of women he likes? Kaminari shouted at him. Shut up. Like hell he can get that many girls, let alone one. Shut it, small fry, Izuku shouted at him. Yeah, small fry. Eri and Kota shouted after Izuku. The girls walked in to see Izuku and the kids shouting at Mineta. Izuku, what are you doing? Himiko asked him. He asked what women I liked. That's nice, but why? Jiro asked with Izuku shrugging. He looked at her and saw that she was carrying a guitar. Kota and Eri went up to her as they played with the strings. He scanned her up and down till an idea popped into his head. I got an idea for that festival thing, he shouted, shaking Jiro. You are going to sing? I see. Can't. She spoke up with Izuku smiling. Of course you can. I can just tell that you can sing beautifully, he shouted, waving around his stumps wildly. How can you tell? I've never sung in front of anybody or played my instruments for that matter in front of other people, she stated with Izuku looking at her. But I heard the noise coming from your room. It went like this, pinky promise. Izuku started to recite the song he heard with Jiro placing her hand on his mouth, causing him to shut up. Oh, okay, I will sing, but are you really sure? Izuku nodded his head with Jiro removing her hand. A concert could be nice, plus that means all of us can perform, Momo stated with the class agreeing. Though Midoriya, when do you sleep? Jiro is a night owl and stays awake long after we're asleep. For you to have heard her means you're doing something right? Momo asked him as he shook his head up and down. Yep. I don't like sleeping. It's a waste of time that could be used to be training to be stronger. I only sleep when I absolutely have to, even then Prey makes me take naps so I get more rest. He says, looking at Tsuyu, who was giving Eri and Kota some cereal. Well, that ain't good, but I am sure that you know what you're doing, Momo said, writing down some notes. If we are going to need multiple people that can play instruments, because I can't be an one-man show, Jiro stated. Then let's all get started because this is going to be lots of work, Tenya said as they all began to fill in roles that they would play. Hey! They all turned to Kota that called them. All. What will Big Bro do? He asked as they all thought about it. Well, he can't sing, play an instrument from the lack of arms, and it will look weird if he were dance because of the arm problem, Mina stated with Izuku looking confused. They thought about with Hagakure coming up with an idea. I got it, Hagakure yelled out as they turned to her. He can be our mascot. He has the small form, so he can be our cute mascot. He stopped to look at the kids to see they were fully listening to him. The heck is a mascot? Well, as a mascot all you have to do is look cute to make people like you. Hagakure explained to him. Sounds boring. Eri walked up to him as he crouched down to her level. Can you turn small for me? She asked as he nodded. He began to shrink down into his plush-size form. She grabbed him and held him close. She had a neutral face that was trying to smile, but she just couldn't. This made Izuku feel terrible. He couldn't help his new air. He hugged Eri in his small form, making an internal promise to keep her happy. The entire class went on overdrive to get the concert up and ready. Mina began to teach the others how to dance for the performance. Jiro and others practiced the song they would sing, with Bakugo finally being convinced to be the drummer. Kota and Eri were kept distracted by Izuku to make sure the festival was an absolute surprise for them. With Izuku being the mascot, the class decided to vote that he wore a cute costume. Heck no. I am a god of the flaming forest. I am not wearing a clown suit, he shouted, backing into corner as the girls held out Dino suit for him to wear. Come on, it will make you look so cool, Tokage said, stepping closer. Nuh-uh, he said, jumping over them. Bring out the big guns, Momo said, with Jiro nodding. Papa, can you please wear it? It looks like nice, Eri said to him with puppy eyes from Jiro's arms. Can. Fine, I will wear it just for you, he said, caving into the idea. He shot the girls a dirty look. That's not fair to use her against me, he told them as they nodded. Sometimes you have to play the villain to be the hero, Mina joked, handing him the suit. He turned around so he could bury it in UA's forest, with Tsuyu grabbing his shoulder. We have spares, so don't waste your time burying it, Karoshi say, walking away. Fine, it's for Eri, so this is fine, he told himself. He watched them all set up the stage with eagerness. It's almost done, and if this works I get to see her smile fully, being happy, he whispered, feeling someone's fighting spirit behind him. First form, water's surface slash. He quickly turned around, evading the concentrated slice. He saw Kota attempting a sneak attack on him with a wooden blade. Dang it, I thought I had you today, he said as Izuku smiled. Soon that day will come, so keep working on it, Izuku says as Kota walks away. Suddenly a small cut opened on his cheek, releasing a drop of blood. Maybe that day is closer than I think, he said, using his stubs to wipe it away. The entire class was working hard day and night to perfect the show. Though they were having a small hiccup with their lead singer. I don't think I can do this, she says to herself in her room, looking at her messy notes for the song. Of course you can, a small voice told her. She looked around the room to see nobody, then looked above to see a vent. She rolled her eyes and opened the vent, only for a tiny Izuku fall through. Izuku, this takes stalking to another level, Jiro says, picking the little demon of a classmate and placed him on the desk. What's that? He asked her. Forget it. Why were you in my vent? She asked as he got serious. I heard something in there. So I, the great king I am to you all, I went to find it. Then I heard you, so I spoke up, he says, picking up the pencil she was using with his tail. He drew a mouse in a suit. This is what I got a glimpse of the monster, he claimed as she connected the dots, knowing it was the principal of UA. You said I could do it. Why do you say that? Jiro asked him. This is too much. If I fail, the show turns out terrible and it's on me, she continued as Izuku listened. I said you can because I know that my disciples are strong. You can definitely do this because I believe in you too, he encouraged her as he peered at her messy notes. He took the pencil and quickly rewrote it all in a more understandable way. I thought you couldn't read or write, she said in surprise. I can't, well, barely. But Fangs has been teaching me so I could explain the breathing techniques on paper better, he said as she read it, and an idea popped into her head. Can you stay here with me so this can be perfect? She asked him as he nodded. I have nothing better to do, so I might as well show my disciple how it's done, he boasted, with Jiro flicking him in the forehead, sending him rolling back. Ow! She smiled as the two worked together through the night. Soon the clock struck 4 o'clock. We have to sleep. We have to help the others tomorrow with the finishing touches on the stage. She gave him a pillow that he laid on like a bed with a small blanket. She hopped onto her bed to fall asleep. "Can you sing the song? I really like to hear it," he says to her. "Sure thing, just for you. My mother sung it to me when I was a little." She cleared her throat and began. Pinky promise, I will protect you, I promise. Until you get big, your mother will protect you all alone. Sorry little one. You may feel lonely, but I will work hard to protect you in your father's stead. Little one, I will protect you even if it costs me my life. Pinky promise, I will protect you, I promise. That was nice. Thank you. Izuku says as his eyes shut, falling into a deep slumber. You're welcome, she said, falling asleep.